Alright guys, TacticalRab back again today. Hope you're doing well and enjoying your day so far. Welcome back to VALORANT news drama everywhere after Sentinels eliminated in the very first round of the lock-in tournament in Sao Paulo last night. Fnatic bullied them out of the tournament. So much traction all across the board, taking them down on Haven, taking them down on Split, and taking them down on Twitter of all places as well. Very much enjoyed your thoughts in the comments below. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you are new as always. Firstly, a quick note that at the lock-in event prior to the grand finals, there will be a show match. This of course has been done in like CSGO majors for years, always a good time generally, so pretty cool stuff. I guess Tarek's going to be there to face off against Team FRTTT, so I don't exactly know what they're planning to do here, but pretty cool stuff. Hopefully it works out well and is at the very least entertaining. Before this game though, Fnatic Sentinels, there was an update that Leo had tested positive. No idea what it is with Fnatic and just turning up to these events and getting ill immediately, but it's basically happened again. So Leo had to play from an isolation like venue or whatever because they couldn't delay the match. We saw with Loud's game on day one of the tournament, they delayed it. I think they played GenG, right? They delayed it a little bit just because I think they were a little bit unwell and they thought, okay, push it back 2 days because we can. Whereas now on the final day of the first round of qualifying matches for the brackets, they can't really delay it any longer, right? They kind of had to play it yesterday and therefore he'll compete for an isolated room. That's what he did, but it didn't seem to affect Fnatic all that much. There was some lag on the stream and actually like a serious amount of issues on the broadcast perspective as well that weren't particularly enjoyable to watch. Fortunately, the series seemed unaffected, but yeah, from a viewing perspective, it wasn't particularly good, especially given the fact that there was almost 800,000 people watching this series. It didn't quite break the record that an NRG versus Loud set, and understandably so. I think that got to about 850k. This series got to about 760 or so k between Sentinels and Fnatic, but this series is not close. This, in fairness, is the Fnatic that like I expected to see. This is what we expected to happen before. These guys should be unbelievable. Their team is just so overpowered, to be honest, Fnatic, and the question was, would they be able to deliver, or you know, would they fall short yet again? Durko was just absolutely going off. Sentinels, they had their chances. There was a few 1v2s they had that, you know, I'm sure zyppan feels frustrated the way that he played some of those situations against like Chronicle in particular, for example. Obviously, you know, game 1 and game 2 are pretty similar scorelines in the end. Wasn't particularly close. Sentinels, their teamwork, their, you know, coordination wasn't really where they need it to be, and Fnatic just have an unbelievable level of talent and brain as well, which was enough to completely destroy Sentinels in this series. 13-6, 13-7, Sentinels straight on the plane home, and you know, not the quickest series of the tournament, but honestly it wasn't too far off, right? So Sentinels, they play one tournament, they win 13 rounds combined, and that's it, right? Single elimination, they are going straight home. Of course, so much reaction to this because Sentinels had kind of bigged it up for the last few days, saying, oh, will Fnatic win a map this time, all this type of stuff, and Fnatic were certainly winning the Twitter game after this one. Nah, ain't no way we came to Brazil for this, and you know, here are Sentinels, or the bots, of course, in the Sentinels app, which got 56,000 likes, and I think you can understand why. Now, some reaction from the pros to this, right? Of course, TenZ was saying things about, you know, frustrating to lose that series, but learned a lot. Of course, at the end of the day, a lot of teams aren't treating this tournament like that highly, just because it's single elimination, right? And when they go into the actual start of the season matches, then you'll start to see. But the issue is, if 100 Thieves don't win this tournament now, or if Leviathan or Loud don't win this tournament, then, you know, the North American or the Americas region will not get the extra spot, which means that getting Sentinels to Masters is going to be very tricky because only 3 teams of NA will make it. You've got NRG, you've got Loud already looking very strong, and then 100 Thieves. You know, it's a competitive situation there in all the leagues, but certainly in the Americas as well. They, I'm sure, will feel like they could do with that extra qualification spot for Masters. It might not be the case. ShahZaM, I thought, would maybe go even harder on Sentinels. He says, okay, nice try, props to Fnatic, they look scary good, so actually some respect delivered. Not so much though from Dapr, right, formerly of Sentinels. Feels, I'm sure, a bit disrespected by the way that they treated him during the end of his tenure there. All I'm saying is I never lost a map to Fnatic, so basically bring me back. Even Sick, I thought, was pretty interesting, right? He says, like, you know, reminiscing on the times that this team was actually pretty good. So I wonder if Sick feels like, look guys, put me in the starting team. You guys aren't good enough with your roster. Get me in. So yeah, I don't know what you guys think about that, but I thought it was an interesting tweet from Sick, there's no doubt. And even as Marv says, time to save it. And as I just mentioned, right, some teams aren't taking this tournament so seriously, single elimination. Cloud9 though, they are making changes. There were some additional rumors coming out last night that indeed Vanity is probably gone. Maybe not guaranteed, but it might well be the case. Ye might be gone as well. That was the rumor we discussed yesterday, which would be an absolute madness, but it could or could not happen. I guess we'll see. So yeah, further rumors last night that it kind of exacerbated the idea that indeed Cloud9 are making changes after just one tournament. Now, Vanity actually tweeted the following last night. Sentinels internally discussing changes. TenZ might leave because his teammates weren't bawling their eyes out after losing the map. I mean, it should be boring falling with a W here, right? But, you know, whatever. Get the point across. So I think Vanity was just trying to joke around the fact that people said that after this one tournament, Cloud9 were going to make changes. And I was saying, yeah, Sentinels are making, you know, discussing changes and all this type of stuff to take the mick out of that. But, you know, rumors are that indeed Cloud9 might be making changes. So I don't know if Vanity's aware of this yet or not, but his spot might not be particularly safe. The overall numbers here, before we talk about some more drama, was of course 2-0. The overall numbers, I mean, it was Durka on the Jet who just completely destroyed them in the series. TenZ tried his best at times, but it wasn't really to be. Zekken had a tough series here. Haven 13-6, Leo, Chronicle, Durka, and then game 2 split 13-7. Durka again, 23 frags, not even close this series. GG, and you know, straight to the nearest airport. Now, to me, the most entertaining drama about this was actually not the words that the pros said, but actually on the analyst side. So, you know, this is why North America as a region is built different. No other region has analysts going at it on Twitter, but here we go. So, Weltis, who was the former analyst for Sentinels, it came into them last season. They decided when they moved on to the new kind of era of their team, they weren't going to continue Weltis' contract and he was going to be gone. Now, what Weltis says here, big Fnatic win versus Sentinels, but I'm not surprised. One thing that goes under the radar is Mini Jake's belief in using data. So this is the head coach for Fnatic here. Previously, he and I worked briefly together in the off-season. They've now added Anders, the king of VALORANT data for Brazil. Meanwhile, Sentinels clearly prioritized rounding out the coaching staff that had other strengths and didn't fully see the value of pure data, like purely data-driven analysts. The teams that do, given enough talent and strategy, will continue to beat any teams that underestimate data. Now, this is basically calling out here Drew Spark, who is the head coach now for Sentinels. Now, I know Drew watches some of these videos, so hopefully you find it entertaining here, being in one of them finally. But as Drew says, I've been working professionally at the highest level as a data-driven analyst for 3 years now. I guess since I didn't build my entire career posting stats on Twitter, it's fair to assume that my team underestimate data and I'm unsuitable for my role. And I kind of agree with Drew here, really. I don't exactly know why Weltis was singling out, you know, basically Drew and the coaching staff there for not analyzing or not using data well enough. Like, at the end of the day, Durka dropped into the server and smoked them. Like, that is what won them the series. I don't think data was the thing that won that series, Fnatic versus Sentinels. It was the players in the server at the end of the day. Yes, the data might help and some data analysis might help, but at the end of the day, the players, the teamwork, the coordination was just straight up better. That's what won them the series. It wasn't the data, in my opinion at least. That might make a small difference, but when you're getting bodied like that, there's obviously more factors in play. Now, Weltis actually replies to this and says, there's no doubt you're great at what you do. However, there's simply too much to do data-wise in Val. You need a dedicated resource to it. Sentinels didn't see the value in that. It's not your fault. So now, you know, obviously it does sound like he's a little bit salty getting dropped from Sentinels here. And he says, for those who say I'm salty, okay, I'm a little bit salty, but not at Drew. The team, like basically everyone, proved they didn't value a fresh perspective and extremely analytical skill set. I wasn't given a chance to demonstrate my potential value. I was turned down after a simple intro call. Some examples, you know, optimal loader, optimal agent, all this type of stuff. So, I mean, I don't know. He's just going on a rant on Twitter here, but I thought it was very entertaining. You very rarely see drama between former analysts versus new analysts, but that's exactly what we have in North American VALORANT, baby. And there was also drama between former coach and current coach. So you guys might remember this video that Sentinels did a while ago where Psycho comes up and spins the wheel, and the wheel basically just says TenZ go kill, and TenZ is like, oh, you know, that's our strategy and it always used to work back in Reykjavik or whatever. And Raucus is like, oh wow, yeah, so you took the piss out of my strat book and our play calls to just get bodied like this with your new coaching staff anyway. So yeah, true to your thoughts in the comments on that. I mean, yeah, Sentinels just can't get away from it. But of course they're asking for it, right? I mean, they talk a bit of trash on Twitter and stuff, so when they lose, then it's obviously getting ready to happen. The other series was Fury versus T1. It seems like T1 didn't really learn too much from their performance, honestly, at the Ludwig Tarek Invitational because they got bodied here. There was a bit of drama actually in this series as well, because there was a round that was played in the early part of Icebox that was forced to be replayed. Now, you know, basically what was spotted here was that one of the players on Furia was using a Killjoy exploit to put a nanoswarm between the boxes on the A site. That looks like this. So if you go right here and chuck this nanoswarm in this corner, it will be in a position where you simply can't get rid of it. Now, you know, which is obviously a glitch and is unintended and therefore is not allowed in competitive play. Now, the rumor has it though, I think people looked into this and they found out that actually this player didn't even use this glitch, and there was a bit of drama about this because the player was like, well, actually I didn't even use that, they just thought I did, and therefore they had to replay the round and you know, all this type of stuff, and gave potentially an advantage to T1 in terms of momentum. In the long run, of course, it didn't matter at all because T1 got bodied regardless, but yeah, if that had been a deciding factor in a game where Furia had had to, you know, replay a round in a situation where they actually, you know, weren't intending to use this or didn't even use it in the first place, then, you know, I'm sure there'd be even more controversy than there was. But regardless, 2-0, Fury win the series. Honestly, this is pretty swift. Swifter than I thought it would be, especially given how T1 should be pretty good. But I guess Brazil's coming different this tournament. 13-7, 13-5. No rating here, unfortunately, because of that round replay. So all you get is the numbers. Kind of unfortunate, but it is what it is. And even as Bosa says, thought it was pretty entertaining, Fury are now expected to win this event because it worked so well for his tweet up against Sentinels. And, he's trying again when they play their next match against Fury in a couple of days' time. North America's last hope, though, already has 100 Thieves very quickly into the tournament here. But if 100T win their next round game, they probably play Fnatic, which is going to be very scary. And it's very possible that Fnatic knock out the 2 last North American hopes for the tournament. This then is the bracket. 2 games today. Secret Na'Vi, that's going to be a banger. And then Leviathan of Vitality. I'm expecting a Na'Vi and Leviathan win, but I guess we'll have to see about that. Hit the like button if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new. Take care, and I'll see you next time.